Hello, friends. I'm so excited. We are in for session 1 of the Mastermind Method for Success live workshop series that's happening for the next week right here in Connect and Convert. So you are absolutely in the right place, not like me who is just going live in the wrong place. So I'm going to give you a bit of a chance to jump on, and while I'm waiting for some more people to come on, I'll go through a little bit of housekeeping to make sure you have what you need to get the most out of this workshop this week and explain how it kind of works, so that you can make sure you can get the most out of these training sessions that are only up for a limited time, and the access to me where you can get your questions answered, get that course correction you're probably really needing, and understand the next steps and the next way forward. So firstly, welcome. I'm so happy that you've been able to find this group, find me, because I am determined to get things moving for you. Firstly, one of the biggest roadmaps to working through this work this week, I've got to go opposite, is your workbook, the Mastermind Success Method workshop. In there, you'll find the guide for all of the first 4 sessions that we're going to do live over the next 4 days at the same time, okay? Now, that time will be different, obviously, if you're in the US or if you're in Australia or anywhere else in the world. So they will be, the next 4 will be at 1 p.m. Melbourne time each day. And those are outlined in the workbook. The workbook you can find at victoriagibson.com/workbook. So that makes it kind of easy, right? So head to victoriagibson.com/workbook, and then you have your guide for the first 4 sessions, one of which we're going to go through now. Okay. Now, at the end of this live session, there will be homework. You can post your homework and you'll get a chance to win a Sephora gift card. We like to play along here. You can actually just post your homework in this thread. I used to do separate threads, but I think they sort of get lost in all the posts in the group. So if you're watching this after the live, you can just put #replay and you can just put #homework and fill me in on those actions of what you're going to get done. Because this is more than just me telling you exactly what to do, you furiously writing notes and going, okay, great, I've got more information. I want to actually make this interactive. I want to make sure that between sessions, you're actually bringing this to life and putting in some of the work. So that I can help you along and make sure that you're going to get the most out of the workshop. So if you are here and you can hear me and you can see me, can you just click like? That would make it easy to make sure that I haven't got any issues. I know because I'm using ecamm, sometimes you have to accept some certain things, or I'm not sure, in order to comment or for me to see your comments. But hit like regardless, then I'll know you're here, which makes me super happy because it's way more fun to talk to people than not. As I said, going to be here for the next week, really. So we'll have some of the upfront training with the 4 sessions, and then we're going to go into case study interviews where I'm going to share some of my beautiful clients, their stories, what they've faced, what they've come up against, and how they've been able to bring a mastermind offer to market and make it work. So that's going to be cool. We've also got Denise Duffield-Thomas coming in. Hi, Kathy. Workbook is victoriagibson.com/workbook. Nice to have you here, Kathy. Hope you are well. And now, look, the first thing, what is the purpose of the workshop as well? I'm going to show you how to sell more online courses and programs and services without a big list, a fancy funnel, and even if nobody's heard of you yet. I've got plenty of case studies, examples, and even myself who have been offering this for some time, and I'm going to tell you how I got started, how some of my clients get started, and then how you can apply that yourself as well. And in future sessions, we're going to talk about things like pricing. We're going to talk about things like your main, like one simple funnel that you can be using again and again can to attract the clients that you want into this offer. Okay. And all along, of course, this is going to bring up questions. I understand that. So you can type them as we go. Type them with hashtag replay if you're not here live. I'm just going to actually put up my other screen so that I can see some of those questions as they come in, because sometimes I can see that better in here. So let me just grab it here and then we can get moving and get going. You can hear me, I assume. Kathy, let me know. I can see that it is live, which we always love. There's always a bit of a delay. So great. Okay. Now, basically, I want to let you know that if you do have a digital course, if you do have an idea for a coaching program, or you have been selling your services privately, or maybe you've even been doing done-for-you services, you know, the fact that they're not selling to your income goals or you're not reaching your income goals, it's not necessarily your fault, right? Okay, good. Thanks, Kathy. There is a bit of a delay. Yeah, creating an online course is kind of billed as the holy grail out there. There's a lot of people talking about it, a lot of people promising that once you have your digital course or your online course, I'll use those terms interchangeably throughout this training, once you have that in place, that all this passive income will just flow. You just pop it up online and then people are going to come and buy it, right? And even if you know logically that's not true, there is this pervasive thinking that's out there that is true, that is going to be the path to success, to getting more clients online. So, of course, I don't blame you if you believe that, right? And that you've spent all your time focusing on making that work. And maybe you've created your course and maybe you haven't yet, but you're thinking that's the path that you need to go. Now, there's a couple of problems with that, and I'm going to go through that in today's training, but that promise of a digital course being the answer to your prayers in terms of attracting clients and growing your income online can actually be what's keeping you stuck. That thinking and that mindset around creating an online course can be the reason why you are stuck. And that is often because we're just stepping into our expertise, or even if we've had great success, and most of my clients that I work with have had great success in the real world, right? Like in real life, in your career, in your profession, with your experience and the work that you've done with yourself, getting others results privately or yourself results, you're used to being able to make that work. But then when you have to step up online, there's this like whole kind of visibility piece that comes into play, and all these moving parts and pieces, and everything seems a lot more intimidating. So the rush can be to go, okay, well, I'll just figure out the tech and I'll get all my expertise downloaded into this course and I'll start selling it. And because I'm not that experienced and people don't know of me yet, it's fine. I'll just make it really, really cheap. But there's a missing part of finding that message to market fit, also finding your groove with getting an audience out there, finding your path to traffic without blowing a ton on Facebook ads that don't work. So what happens is, this is the typical path I see, coaches and consultants develop an online program or digital course, okay? So they think, great, okay, once I have that, I only need to sell 20, 30, 50, 100, and I'm good to go, right? Well, the issue is you don't then have a traffic source, or an engaged or motivated or inspired traffic source, and particularly if you don't have your message to market dialed in, you definitely won't have this, that is going to be enough to sustain that month in, month out, right? So we haven't often thought that far ahead, and trust me, I get that, and I'll tell you how and why I get that as well, right? So if you've been concerned that you can't get clients consistently, I want to put those concerns to rest with this workshop, right? If you've been concerned that you haven't been able to sell your online course, your digital program consistently, I want to put those concerns to bed in this workshop, right? Because look, the big guys out there, the big guys and the gals out there want you to think that all you need is a digital course or an online course, right? Because that's a really easy part of this to teach. right? And I'm not poo-pooing what they teach. It's just like traditionally thought of as the first step. Well, great, you take all your expertise, you put it online and you sell it, right? You package it and you sell it. And what could be easier? But on the flip side, what could be harder? Okay, you are starting out, or maybe you've been serving some of your clients online or in person, and it seems to make sense. It seems so logical that you just put this online and people can access it at any time, right? And like I said, the big guys and gals out there want you to subscribe to that theory because it seems very linear, right? You're an expert, or you have skills, talents, abilities, and magic. You could just put that online and people could buy it and you can work from anywhere, and happy days. But we're missing out some fundamental elements here. And that is that when you haven't built a connection with an audience through a powerful message to market, right, then nobody's going to buy it. Even if you pay someone a few $1,000s to run some ads for you, and then you give Mark Zuckerberg another $10,000 or whatever it is, even if you start out, $50 a day or whatever it is on ads, that's not going to solve this other problem. And unfortunately, there's not a cookie cutter approach to you just working out what that message to market is, right? And there's not a cookie cutter approach to you growing your engaged audience, although all the wisdom out there of the day would tell you otherwise, because it serves to sell very automated kind of programs, right, where they don't have to give you custom information, because that wouldn't work. Someone selling thousands upon thousands of courses isn't going to tell you that you need custom help and feedback to make this work, because that would go against their leveraged model, right? And then, so of course, we see those people out there selling online courses and making lots of money, and then we scratch our head and go, well, this isn't going to happen for me, right? But we're not playing fair here, okay? And I can guarantee that those who are selling a lot of digital courses or online programs haven't gone and bought a cookie cutter online program to make it work either, right? They've actually got some help. They've got some guidance. They've got some support. They've sought the power of a collective group, big or small, who've helped them have uncover the whys and the wherefores of what they need to bring to the world, how they need to connect with their ideal clients and buyers and audience, okay? They haven't just bought an online course to figure out how to do this. So what I want to show you is this is what's probably standing in the way of you getting your course out there, but also you getting your clients great results, right? So the process of actually creating an online course, I'm not poo-pooing it. I think it is great. But when you look at it on its own and you don't have the other pieces in play, then you're going to run into problems. And mostly that is going to be that you price your course too low and you don't have a big audience. You don't know how to connect to and convert that audience. And so you sit there thinking that nobody wants to hear from you, or you're not that kind of business owner to make it work online, okay? But as we've seen this year, there's never been a bigger need for you to work this piece of the puzzle out, okay? There's, in my mastermind alone, I used to do retreats and workshops and all those kind of things live, right? Those possibilities aren't really there. I'm not saying it can never happen again, but for the next 12 months, it's going to be pretty hard, right? So we've got to be able to create and replicate that connection, that community, and that collective in a way to do that online. And I know that masterminds are the way to do that. It's not a cheap, arm's length, big volume online course that's cookie cutter that everybody's just got to follow step by step, and that you're drowning or you're making your clients drown in a sea of videos of everything you know. Okay, there's a better way to do it, and I want to share that with you. So does that part make sense? Just hit a like and let me know that you kind of get that, because I'm here to tell you that, a lot of that wisdom out there, hey, just create your online course is wrong. And I have this powerful alternative to share. And I know that you've been interested in this, and this is probably why you have jumped on the workshop, or you've registered for the workshop, right? So if you've been, like I said, if you've been thinking that you can't make your online course work, and then you've been making that mean that that's because you don't know enough, or you're not that type of person. Thanks, Kathy. That you're not, that you don't really have what it takes, then that's okay. I'm here to share with you a really powerful alternative and how you can get started with what you know and what you already have. Okay, and that's why we're here today. I know you have a dream to make a big impact in the lives of your clients, to share your transformation, to build a following of people who get great results. And this is the other face of this problem, is that people have created an offer and either they haven't sold enough of it, so they've made that mean their expertise is crap or doesn't work, or they have been working with clients and they just can't get their clients' results. And usually this happens when you're working one-on-one with your clients, okay? Because it's very easy in this one-on-one dynamic for your clients to hide from you, or to let their mindset pull them back, or to make a hell of a lot of excuses, and you're there as a person that they're paying, trying to keep them on track, but really there's no real consequence of them not doing what they're telling you they want to do, right? So they kind of bumble along, things happen, doesn't really work, and there you go, right? Then you once again make that mean that you're not a great coach, or you can't really make this work, or what you have isn't going to make that impact that you dreamt of, okay? Whereas I'm also here to tell you that's not right. And I want to show you how, with the beautiful mastermind concept, how that takes away a lot of that running and hiding that clients can often do, and how the power of a peer-based collective can inspire, motivate, and transform far more than you can, which is very good news if you're having trouble stepping into that I'm the best expert, or I'm an expert, or I'm a mentor, or I'm a guru, right? Because you haven't been around for a long time, or because you haven't made $1 million yet. It doesn't mean you can't create a boutique collective of clients in a mastermind that all rise each other up. There's that saying, right? All boats rise to the same level, right? That this is the power of a mastermind. That connection that a mastermind brings is needed now more than ever. When people are feeling alone, people are feeling isolated, they're at home, all they've got is their internet connection. So let's make that work in such a meaningful way. And the beautiful thing is you can charge more for your expertise, serve fewer clients, and get better results for them and you with this model. Okay, does that make sense? My goal for this session is kind of twofold. For those who haven't got started yet, I want to shortcut all that work that you're going to do in going into tech oblivion to create an online course before you have a powerful message to market an audience and before you've got people results. I want to show you there's a different way. And for those more experienced coaches and consultants out there, I'm going to show you a way to absolutely transform your current offers, to attract clients that you love and put the fun back in your business. I've done this time and time again with my clients. I've had clients who've come to me with a myriad of courses, and they're all really low price. I've actually got a client at the moment who created around 80 low-priced online courses that she was selling on Udemy, and was able to take just the knowledge she had, not just one $12 course. That's pretty much what some of them are selling for, $12. This woman has a PhD, amazing expertise, and selling her beautiful expertise for $12 a piece. Like, no. and she was making really a good monthly income out of that. But even with just one shift into creating a powerful mastermind on one specific element of that, we were able to turn that into a $5,000 offer. And I think she sold about 3 or 4 of those already, right? Now, do you know how many $12 courses you would need to sell to make $5,000? I don't even know, because I'm really bad at maths. But if you want to pop it in the comments, let me know. But it's a lot. Now, platforms like Udemy might give you some of that traffic, but if you haven't dialed in your proposition, even going places where the traffic are isn't going to make it work. Or I had another beautiful client, and you might have seen in my email that I sent out this week, I had that handy actually today. Sorry, me sticking my face right in the camera there. Where she said to me, today is a very special day. I just surpassed the $1 million mark for 2020. That's right, I've made $1 million this year alone. And in the month of June, I'll make $500,000. That's the month of June, right? So it's shaping up to be a good year. This is the email that she sent me. And she said, pretty insane considering where we started from and how you helped me get such an important leg up 3 years ago. So yes, this was 3 years ago. She didn't do that in 2 months, right? But when she came to me, she was making from memory about 3 to 4K from 27 online courses that she had that were low priced online courses. So we were able to repackage those, move her up to 10K and then 25K pretty quickly. Then she's been able to build upon that success and now reach $1 million this year alone. That's in half a year. So she should be on track to do multi-7 figures this year, right? Because it's not you that's broken. It's not the expertise that's broken. It's the way that you're packaging it, pricing it, and messaging it that's broken, right? And that's where you need help. And you continuing to buy course after course after course and just go through all the steps that a million other people are doing is not going to help you break through. You need some custom feedback and advice on that. That's what I'm here to do over this next week. So if you want to ask me about your offer and whether what you believe I think of it, then great. Either book in for a call if you want to do it privately, pop in to the group and the sessions and ask. I really want to help you with that because I hate seeing people stuck. I hate seeing people in that state of overwhelm of all the things that have to happen, of them thinking that marketing doesn't work for them, right? I spoke to a woman yesterday who's going to come and work with me, which is super exciting, who's like, I'm just not good at marketing, right? I get so excited when I think about all the people I want to help and what I want to do. And then when I look at all the marketing stuff, I'm like, oh, and she just freezes up and nothing happens, right? So the result of that thought of I have to do a complicated funnel or I have to do a launch, who out here is like, and this is where this woman was headed to do a launch in just a few weeks. And I was like, whoa, no, do not do that launch yet, right? You are nowhere near ready. As driven, motivated, committed, successful women, we want to tick all the boxes here. We want to get all this right from the outset. And we consume all this knowledge and we get moving. Great, I've got my expertise, tick. Next, I'll create an online course, tick. And then I've got to do a launch, right? I've got to do Facebook ads. I've got to do, a webinar, a workshop, all these videos. And they go and do them all. And it takes an absolute shit ton of effort to get all those things worked out. Many sleepless nights, many late nights, up creating all this stuff, figuring out the tech, getting people to help you. Those people kind of let you down and then you're just still feeling like you're lost, right? And then you put it all out there and guess what? One or two people buy it and you're like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do now? Like that, guess what happens? People do. They go, okay, well that's done. I'll go and do something else now. They haven't worked on the fact of optimizing what they already have. One of my clients I had before, Robin, she had a beautiful offer. It was, I don't know what it's called now, but it was called a Fertility Warrior Intensive, right? So this is for women going through the absolute mind jungle of trying to get pregnant, right? When they've got fertility issues. And she had this mindset program around that and bringing that to the fore and helping women battling with the struggles of IVF. When she first launched it was an online course. So I think it was $67. And she sold 3 and 2 of them refunded. And so when she came to me, she wanted to create this website or business, like helping people with their websites or something. I was like, hang on a minute, tell me what you have been doing. And when she told me about that course, I was like, no, the message to market is so great. This is so awesome. It was just the packaging, how you package that up that wasn't right. And we can go back and we can make that work. You don't have to create anything new. You don't have to make it mean that because you only sold a couple and you only and then one of them refunded, that it just needs to be scrapped. It doesn't need to be scrapped, and we proved that because what we did is we repackaged it just to her audience, we did a webinar. I'm trying to remember if we did ads or not. I think we did. We did a few ads. She was able to sell 10 at $997. Didn't recreate the course, didn't reinvent the wheel, just brought people together in a small mastermind to run through this, her approach to getting through the mindset junk of getting pregnant, right? And one of the interesting parts about that, and this is a common objection I get, is that, oh, well, I help women with something that they wouldn't want to share in a group. But nothing could be further from the truth, because Robin said that to me, but I don't think people would want to do that in a group or would want to be kind of part of being active in the group. They just want to consume this online because, that it's about something kind of private or that they're going through. But I said to her, these women are dying to talk more about this. They want people who understand. Their best friend who's got 3 kids isn't really that interested in hearing ad infinitum about their infertility struggles, okay? So where else would they rather be than in a place where people get them, understand them, where they can be celebrated, where they can be consoled, where they can be guided to do things better? Right? That's so important. And that's really one of the key tenets of a mastermind. This came up for another one of my other clients who taught women how to want to have more sex with their husbands, married women how to want to have sex with their husbands, obviously, if it's their husbands, right? Now, this is a significant pain point that, yeah, sure, you're not just going to go and meet someone for a cup of tea and go, oh my God, my husband wants to have sex with me and I just do not, right? And I don't know what to do. It's creating pressure in our marriage. I feel guilty, but I don't know how to want to because I just don't. And then he gets upset and then it's putting this real fracture in our relationship. Marriages are at risk because of this very issue. Now, this isn't something that maybe a lot of married women feel like they can go and talk to their friends or family about. So my client, she had this very same problem, and she would go to therapy and they say, okay, we'll just put your sexy lingerie on and, do all this. And she's like, no, that's not making it better for me. So she did all this research on what does work and what doesn't and how to get her own head back in the game to save her marriage. And then she was able to take that into a program. And now she had some success in getting some $97 sales. But when she came to me, she was like, well, it's all well and good and it's selling. And actually, this was cash flow positive on a Facebook offer, which I was like, well, that's fantastic because it's actually really hard to get cash flow positive results from a Facebook ad from a low-priced offer. Like those small offers and $97 offers, this is the problem. This is one other layer of the problem, is that not only do you need hundreds of people to make this work, which you don't have access to unless you pay for it, and then if you don't have it all working together, you can very quickly lose money on Facebook ads. But not only that, she had that working, but then she was like, but it's not really worth my while. Like by the time I take out my ad costs, it's not worth my while. And I'm like, exactly. But what we do have is great evidence that your message to market works. So how can we repurpose and repackage this in a way that creates more of a mastermind approach, but you're not having to create anything new? And so that's what we did. I wanted her to go to a $997 offer. She went to a $497 offer, did a webinar, sold 25 straight out the gate just on her live webinar, and then had a new framework and a price validation for moving forward, right? She didn't change what she was offering because she already had evidence that that was working. Now, that may not be you. It might not be that you've already got sales and they're working, it's just not the right price. It might be that nobody's buying and so you're not making any money, right? So we need to go back to message to market. You might have the message to market dialed in like Robin did, like Jana did with those fertility warrior things with the how to want to have sex with your husband. That is like a goldmine of an offer. When she told me that, I was like, I want that offer. So many times I have clients come to me with offers and I'm like, I want that offer. It's brilliant. Instead, I shall just teach you how to make more money online, how to create, how to attract more clients online, and which, billions of other people do. That's also another faulty thought. There are billions of other people who do that. But guess what? I've been able to find the part of it that works for me, create more customization, connection with my clients, lead with a mastermind offer rather than going with the cheap offer first. Now, I'm not saying there's no place for an online course in your portfolio of offers, but I want you to start with one and get one thing working. And generally, you can reach your income goals faster with fewer clients using the mastermind model than going straight to that cheaper online course or a membership model. Like I've had the amount of people I've had with membership models come to me, and they're making the most I've seen people make with a $47, $97, $37, $27 a month membership is about 10 to 12K a month. Now you might say, well, that's great, I want that. But when they come to me, they are so burnt out from all these people, because all the people in there require as much work as $1,000 a month client. Like, they want your support, they want your answers, they clog up your admin to kingdom come. Right? So it's hard work for that 10 grand. There's this myth out there, right? That you can just, do it at a low price and it's like Netflix and you can just, no, it rarely works, okay? It rarely works. Now, Kathy, I see you have a question. Would you say Mastermind around rape trauma be a group program, or do you think it's too personal? I absolutely think it can be a group program. There's actually another woman in here, I think she does it more family violence trauma, Renee her name is, but coming back from trauma, and I think group programs are so vital and important, and in a way so much more than say going to a therapy group in person, where they can actually still feel like, okay, well, I'm online, I'm not having to be as vulnerable as showing up. But you need to set very clear boundaries about confidentiality and honoring each and every woman that's in there and their journey. I also would set some boundaries around the difference between having a mastermind and them going to therapy. If they're not seeking actual therapy and help, then that may be an issue where you may not have the qualifications to help them get the transformation. So that's where your message to market needs to be very dialed in there too, Kathy. But I don't think there's any topic that's off limits here. I've also had a client who came to me with her 297 online course. Of course, what a surprise, it wasn't selling. She wasn't making money despite buying all the online courses, doing a webinar, all of these things. So we were able to dial it into a very specific promise. She was doing women with money, she was a financial planner, how to get, get more money sense as a mum particularly. So we dialed into that even more. A mum at home, we had stay-at-home mums with small children. And so what we worked on based on what she knew and what she was excited about delivering was how to get these mums to save 5K in 3 months. So add 5K to their net worth. So it wasn't just like saving money, not spending money in lattes. It was working out a whole series of touch points to add 5K to the net worth of their family, and then have a goal about what they were going to do with that 5K. Now that just brought that to life and made that a real group program, rather than, oh my God, my budgeting's out of control, I overspend, or my husband won't let me spend money, I feel like powerless as a mum at home. All those things, they could bring it together for a common goal. And then all the women were like supporting each other, and then they could invest at 997 instead of 297. So there she had a container that she could instantly start getting to 5K, 10K a month, a lot easier than trying to sell 297 on a webinar. Because if you just only have a 297 offer, you put that into a webinar and then you try and buy traffic on Facebook and make that all stack up, guess what? You're probably going to spend $297 to get one buyer. Then you got no money left to deliver it and put attention and effort and energy into creating great results for your clients. Also, you're probably going to be quite resentful about creating that container and some of that customization and support for someone who's only spent $297, particularly if you allow them to just join a course for the whole year and you give them everything. I see that happen a lot. People are like, well, they bought it a while ago and it's okay, I don't want to kick them out of the group. And it's like they're just totally setting themselves up to continue to over deliver and not make the money that they need because they refuse to set the right container because they're doubting themselves. So this is also why accountability with a mentor is really, really needed. You need somebody to kind of kick you up the backside to get things moving in a way that is going to set you up for sustainability. Okay, it doesn't matter if you have a big list. You don't need a big list. We can still use Facebook ads to connect with the right people. We can still create the credibility and authority with the webinar. You can still enroll your dream clients on a call and bring them into a nice boutique mastermind where they feel seen, heard, cared for without over delivering. You don't have to open it all up one-on-one. You don't have to have some 25 module online course. An online course is still good to have with a mastermind. You can still work those two together. Because it takes a lot of the reinventing the wheel for each client and takes a lot more of that custom workout that you will need to be doing, okay? So, yes, that was, so I also want to say, you might be going, well, who are you and how do you know if you're new to my community? Well, I jumped out of corporate in 2010, started online, but in earnest 2011. A lot of 2010 I spent in a coffee shop trying to figure all this out. This was totally new space to me, but I was determined to make it work. And a mastermind, really why I'm so passionate about masterminds, is that was my first step in the online world in terms of bringing together what I could do online. And I was lucky enough to join Marie Forleo's mastermind with the likes of people like Amy Porterfield, Natalie Lucier, a whole range of amazing people who I could collectively learn from. It was about more than just being the guru, right? So, so mastermind and a webinar. So a webinar is a tool to enroll your clients, to create credibility and authority, and it's a conversion tool, okay? A mastermind is your delivery tool. Okay, so people, once they've invested, they come into your program, which is a mastermind. So Kathy's just asked that. So webinar is a conversion tool that anybody can come and understand the concepts, to feel the cost of their problem, to connect with you and how you can help them. Okay, so that's really the conversion tool to get them into your program. Okay, the mastermind is the delivery tool to create the transformation, to allow you to have a beautiful container that you can feel great about showing up in, about creating transformation for your clients, and that you're able to charge a lot more for, because it's a more of a high touch environment than just a arm's length online course. So the difference, some people ask me what's the difference between a mastermind and what if I want to just do a group program. Well, they're pretty much the same, but a mastermind came from the term, or from the book from Napoleon Hill. I've got it here actually. I've got the workbook, Think and Grow Rich. Now, actually, the Think and Grow Rich text is Creative Commons. You can get that for free and download it. This is a workbook that kind of pulls it into light a little bit more, and you can do a little bit of a workbook on it. But what came up is that he deemed that one of the key terms to thinking and growing rich was having a mastermind. Okay, and that was to have a collective of people that are bigger than you, right? So that meant that he was saying between me and somebody else, or one person and another person, there becomes this third mind that sits above, and that's the exchange of ideas. And what happens when you exchange ideas with like-minded, like-thinking people? Now, that doesn't mean you have to create a clone in your mastermind. Everyone has to think the same, and everyone has to be at the same level, and everyone has to start at the same time. You don't have to, and you don't even have to have them meet in person either, or live. You don't have to show up live and have this as a physical thing. You can, if you want to add retreats and workshops, absolutely. But now in these times, this is a great opportunity to be able to do this completely virtually without taking out that opportunity for the collective, for the third mind. The beauty of a mastermind versus an online course is that largely it removes you as the big guru. You become a facilitator. You become the connector of the collective, right? Then people can come together, support each other, create also this environment of peer kind of guidance, motivation and inspiration, because nothing's more motivating. Think about what I was talking about before when you're doing one-on-one client work with your clients, and they are coming to you week after week. Well, I didn't do that last week, and they're kind of like, well, I paid you, so it doesn't, I can't really get in trouble, right? Whereas when they're in a mastermind, guess what? They come each week and we dive in to what they're up to, what they're doing in a group call, okay? So you're not having to do this all one-on-one. You're not blocking out all those hours of one-on-one coaching. You're able to do this in a group setting, and then people can see the wins. They can see, oh, she did that. He did that. Oh, wow. But I could do that, right? That is so powerful. And you'll see those peer dynamics work really, really well, regardless of whether people are introverts or extroverts. It works an absolute treat. So Mastermind really is having that container that allows for deeper connection, customization, guidance. That's in your workbook too. So you'll see that the 4 pillars of a successful mastermind. Community. The community is this piece, right? Customization. You allow for where your people are at, and you use a framework for success, and that's what I develop with my clients in Mastermind Success Secrets. You use that framework for success, but you allow for customization, which I also do in that program, where I meet my clients where they are and help give them a solid roadmap for growth using the overall framework, but taking into account their levels of experience, their market, and how they want to live their life and how they want to deliver their program. Does that make sense? And I'm also a big proponent of making this evergreen. This doesn't have to be in some outmoded launch strategy where you've got to launch, and oh my goodness, like it's killer. And then you do these big launches and then no one buys and you're like, oh my goodness, like what? So even I was showing the other day, I've got my framework here too for that success, but you probably can't see this actually. The light is quite, and when it reverses, I don't know how to do this, so forgive me. But this even surprised me. I went to my Kajabi in May to go, okay, well, I just want to look at what, the volume of dollars that have come into my business over that year from May to May. And what I could see, and this is showing you that kind of anti-launch thing, there was $609,394. Now that's Aussie coming in for 122 offers sold. So I wasn't relying on a huge amount of clients. I was relying on working in a leverage way with a great group of clients, getting them results to bring those dollars in. And in fact, when I started in May, I had done a massive list cull and I only had 2,000 people on my list. So a lot of people that I speak to, no worries, Kathy, a lot of people that I speak to, I don't even really have a list yet, or they've got a list of 200 people and they're making a couple of grand a month, right? Like I said before, that email that I showed you, that I printed this out because this made me so happy, where she said, I've just surpassed the $1 million mark. And remember when I cried when we went from less than 5K up to 25K a month. That was relatively quickly, okay? So the million took 3 years. Hey, I'd take 3 years to get to $1 million, wouldn't you? Right? But we can transform that 2 or 4K a month relatively quickly. Okay. And if you want to know about doing that, then just go to victoriagibson.com/call. You can book in, or you can message me on this page and we can chat about that. But what I wanted to share with you is that, it can happen really quickly. Whereas if you're just, we didn't move to a much higher price model, by the way. She got to $1 million on $1,500 initially, and I just asked her then, and one of her signature courses is $397. One of my other clients, her offer's $497. So this isn't only about high ticket either. High ticket can be a great place to start, and high ticket for you might be $2,000, it might be $3,000. One of my clients just sold 7 spaces in a 3K program without even any ads, using what she already had within a matter of 10 days. Another client hadn't created an online course yet, had been turning actually a lot of her clinic sessions into an online coaching program, and she wanted to show other people in her practice how to do, or other people with her expertise how to do the same thing. She was able to sell 10 at 3K. So 3K is a nice sweet spot because it brings in and makes quite a difference. All of those paid up front out of the 7 that I was talking about, they're all paid up front. So in 10 days, she was able to make 21K, right? So see the difference? Like you don't have to be offering a 25K. I've seen ads where people are saying we may, sell 100K programs. When you start to go really high for the sake of it, what happens, and this happened to me too when I got high ticket coaching, and I went to one of the best, which is Kevin Nations. He's amazing, and I still credit him to this day with all the stuff that I do. But what I found is that there became a large kind of almost guilt factor. My mastermind used to be $25,000 a year. And it was totally worth it. I think I had about 3 women make 7 figures out of that mastermind alone at that price point, right? So would you pay $25,000 to have the framework, support and guidance to get to $1 million? Yeah, well, I would, right? But what I found is that when sometimes people would get so caught up in investing the 25K, they couldn't then move past that. Even if I give them the framework to get moving and to get results quickly, something just stuck in their brain that they just did nothing. It was a bit like what I said before about the woman who was speaking to me yesterday, saying she's got this big dream to make a lot more impact, but as soon as she tries to, she just gets stuck and overwhelmed with all the marketing, right? And what that means. And what you'll find is when you probably had some of these mindset blocks or problems, or it might not even be mindset, it just shows up as a problem. You stall, right? And when you put an online program, what do? You just eject, or you slowly stop going into the group, because every time you go in there you go, oh, I haven't done that, oh, I haven't. It's demoralizing, right? But what if you're in a program where you can't hide? What if you're in a smaller program and that you're getting asked each and every week, where are you at with that? And as a coach and a mentor, it's so much more satisfying than seeing people just buy things and they just don't do them. Okay, how many online courses have you got? Click like if you've been buying a few of your own that you collected that you haven't done. And it's so frustrating. Yet when you do those programs and you move ahead, it's so cool. Like when I was in Marie Forleo's mastermind and I was able to just sort of start out with something. I had no idea what I wanted to do, but I was just able to start out with something and make money. I was like, woohoo, amazing. Then I could land on Facebook ads. So I created an online, a $97 or $197, I can't even remember what it was now, Facebook ads course. And I did sell about $3,000 worth of those on a webinar, but it wasn't enough to keep me going. It wasn't sustainable because every time I just kept thinking about those little small things. By the time I'd figured it all out, I was so burnt out, I wanted to just go to the next thing, right? So what we want to do is set you up with evergreen and sustainable outcomes with a mastermind offer. And that can be at any price. We figured that out. That's part of the customization, okay? And then really, hopefully you can see this. It is about that cultivating connection. So having some of that engaging content, having the right message to market, okay? And then we go to, wrong way, communicate to convert. Looking at a one simple funnel. I'll show you that in our workshop, in our 3rd workshop in 2 days. Tomorrow I'm going to talk to you about how to get your head around that pricing, how to price your offer for success. Client curation, making sure that you have ways to choose your clients. They're not just blindly pressing a button. I know you want them to just press a button, but what happens then if you haven't really, sorted that out and cultivated the right clients, you're going to get a whole lot of clients that you do not love and they do not light you up. They're needy. They blame you for things that don't work and you basically hate your life, right? By curating your clients and by creating a boutique mastermind, a boutique group of clients, it might even be 1 or 2. Everyone always says to me, oh, but what if only one person buys? Guess what? You love them up until the next person does. I've never had that problem with a client anyway. So just let that out of your head. Isn't it funny how our mind just puts out all these things? But I'd only get one person. But I'm not the best expert. But, Rachel does that. But so-and-so. It doesn't matter. We can create this for everyone here. If you are motivated to get change and transformation for your clients and you've created that change and transformation for yourself or for others in your life, then you can do this, all right? Community, okay, credible community too, a community that is self-fulfilling and that they tell others to come and work with you because they're getting great results, that they love the people that they're in the community with, right? And it just goes round and around. And this is where you get that automation of not just, mindless robot automation. You get this flow of evergreen, like people coming in all the time. You don't have to have these ridiculous peaks of launches and do your Jeff Walker PLF and do all these videos and film them. Do you know how much it costs to professionally film a video series? Like not to mention the amount of anxiety and stress you go through filming it. Trust me, I went one time. I went to a online marketing event in the States. In, where was it? Not Miami. What's the place near there? Fort Lauderdale. And I went with Denise Duffield Thomas, and we went to this event. And I said, "Great! I know this guy. He's been working with some of my other clients doing online videos, and we can meet him, and he can film our videos, right?" And there I was, getting completely stressed. I didn't prepare. I didn't do my scripts. I didn't get my shit together. And I just kept trying to work out what I was doing and talking on camera and getting so frustrated. And Denise would go and just like totally wing it and say, yeah, so this was her Lucky Bitch boot camp. This was back in 2012. She just like filmed it in that room while I was there. I watched her do it. I could not get my shit together with her. I was in tears. But you can do it so well. I can't do it. You know, all those things just hold us back. And then all these missed opportunities just build upon each other again and again and again. And it costs us time, money, and energy. So where I found that opportunity, I don't know if I said before, like the first, when I decided to do a mastermind instead of an ads course or my done for you services, where it was great. I could charge $5,000 a month to do people's Facebook ads and get them some great results, and I was in demand. But guess what? I was having to look at 24/7. People's Facebook ad accounts, be in there all the time, changing things, tweaking things, feeling responsible for their launches and their results. And it just, quite frankly, burnt me out. And then when I had the opportunity to bring together a like-minded group of women in a boutique group where they're all after the same things of having success online, to serve clients, have a bigger impact, and make more money and work from anywhere, then that became the game changer. And when I was nervous about doing it, but when I jumped in and did it for the first time and sold 9 spaces at $9,000, versus selling however many, $3,000 worth of a 197 course on a webinar. And then I was able to then work with those clients over 6 months. I now work with people 6 months, a year, whatever it might be, right? So you can choose that. Why I'm saying whatever it might be is you can choose that. I recommend 6 months to a year, but you can do 3 months to get started too and just get the ball rolling and start getting that validation, right? It's about, once again, needing that customization of where you'd go with that, okay? So, so not only is work for me, it's work for my clients, as I've said, and I talked about that concept. I'm just making sure I cover off in the notes what we've got there. Really the difference is when you have an online course, it's like you're the teacher at the blackboard and you're just like dumping all this information on people. But I want you to be able to bring your expertise and this information to life in a way that creates transformation and change without over-delivering and without burning yourself out, okay? And you can still use your online course that you've got, okay? I didn't have an online course when I created the $81,000 worth of sales. I do now, because I've also been able to use the mastermind for feedback and know what people need to move forward, right? So you might not know that from the outset, and you don't have to. People aren't buying you so they can watch all your videos, right? And actually, it's not even really about you. It's about your promise. It's about their journey, their transformation. So really, you just kind of need to get over yourself and get moving. And that's where accountability with a trusted mentor can really, really work to move you forward in that regard. Let's look at your workshop, because I know you'll probably ask me about what is in that workbook. Please post your questions in there. I know I'm talking fast, but I'm mindful that I want to get you what you need as close to the hour as possible. But I'm happy to answer any questions at all. Thanks, Kathy, for interacting, putting some questions there. Makes me feel a little bit useful, which we like. So the 5 big mistakes, just to recap, 5 big mistakes most online course creators make that keep them from the revenue they deserve. Number 1, rely on one low-priced offer. So just to get this clear, because people say to me, oh, but you have an online course or you do this. Yeah, but I have a signature key offer that creates bigger transformation. So yeah, sure, I have online courses that lead to a bigger offer, but I don't rely on the online course to make money, because if I did, I'd make hardly any. I wouldn't be making that $609K in that May to May year, right? So you rely on one low price offer only, and that's because it takes so long just to get one offer started. So why not get the right offer from the outset? Okay. Mistake 2, no lead generation. You haven't got your lead generation dialed in. All right. You might pay someone to do your Facebook ads. That's fine. How did that work for you? Probably not so great, right? Or maybe it did, and that's fantastic. Maybe you're getting sales, but you just haven't got your revenue where you want it to be. Let's talk about that. Your message is a message to market, not dialed in. Mistake number 4, your offer scope is too wide. You've taken everything you've ever known and put it into one online course. So guess what happens? People get overwhelmed, they don't take action, and they opt out. Or it's too hard, you don't have the levels of support or customization built into your offer, so people just go wandering. Oftentimes people also, when they're paying less, so there's that faulty thinking of, oh, charge less because I'm not as established. When people pay less, they value it less too, and that means that their commitment's less and the results they get are generally less. Mistake 5 is you don't have an audience or access to one. So even if you don't have a big list or a big social media following, that's okay. You can use Facebook ads to grow that from cold to converted, or you can reach other people's communities. So how could you, reach other people who've already created large numbers of your ideal clients? I was able to be featured on Amy Porterfield's podcast. That was a way to reach much larger numbers than my tiny list and get some great clients too. So being on a podcast or offering to do a webinar for someone who has a large number of people and you have slightly different take on your audience. That's where low price courses can work as well. I remember back in when I was doing my Facebook ads webinar, I was connected with Melanie Duncan to go, okay, well, I'll do a Facebook ads webinar to your audience, you can do your Pinterest one to mine. Now she did that Pinterest, I did mine to like 2 people. She did her Pinterest course for $97 offer to people with humongous lists and was able to make I think 7 figures in that year, probably just from that $97 course. So there are the exceptions to the rule, but you need to have access to those large numbers of people and they've got to agree that they want to have your webinar. Okay, so to reboot your online course or to get things back on track, you need to create a mastermind that builds in more customization, connection, and value. So you can charge more and get better client results. This will give you higher conversions, right? You'll get fewer of them than what you'd need with your lower price online course, but what it's going to do is set you up for evergreen recurring revenue and certainty and confidence, which is so needed, okay? So those 4 pillars that you need, community. This is what moves the needle and means that you don't have to do all the heavy lifting. You don't get blamed for everything that your clients do or don't do. Also, you can't take credit for everything that they do either, right? Pillar 2 is customization, being in there to help them. Pillar 3 is transformation, and pillar 4, transformation, making sure like one key outcome that you deliver. I want to tell my daughter just make sure she's going to be quiet. Can you just be quiet for a little bit longer till I'm off this, please? School holidays. And anyway, transformation. So one key outcome, the one promise, right? Everyone wants to deliver everything under the sun to their clients. That creates overwhelm and it creates inaction and it doesn't yield great results. So I want you to get very clear on that one specific outcome and that promise of your mastermind. And then people can be at different levels. People can start at different times, but if you have that one core message to market and promise, that you are golden. Pillar 4 is make it evergreen. That's what I was saying. That means you don't have to launch it all the time. You can use the power of conversion event like webinars and ads to get things moving. So the second page, the 2 power strategies, connection and customization, to go deeper. Have that clear outcome. That's what I was talking about. And everyone's working towards regardless of their experience or skill level. So this is page 2 of the workbook for those who want to fill it out. So you can create leverage. So this isn't about you then creating a group that you then do private coaching in and then you're still burnt out because you charge less than what you charge for private coaching, right? This is about you leveraging your skills and talents, but also leveraging the power of the collective. So you've got to allow that collective to rise up and help each other and connect as well, okay? So you can move beyond one-on-one coaching or done-for-you service, which really we know time for dollars model, you're capped out, okay? And that's by creating that proven roadmap to success. So in my Mastermind Success Secrets program, I work with clients to help you map out every single repeatable step in that framework. We condense it, we make it stronger. Most people do not have this figured out, and it's one of the biggest blocks to conversion, okay? So make it more of an investment than an impulse buy. No more 97, 197 courses. You might want to make it 497. That's okay. But generally, we're going to work at around that $3,000 plus price point, okay? And it brings about more lasting results, authority, and credibility to serve your prospects more deeply than a digital course can. So remember that teacher at the blackboard of the digital course. So I think I repeated myself in the bottom of that worksheet. I can just see I put the extra stuff in there. So key takeaways today. Mastermind builds on the concept of a third mind that's created when a group of like-minded people come together to achieve a shared goal. It's so amazing, and it is like the place where friendships are made as well, like long-term friendships. Clients who were working with me back in 2014, 2015 all still have their mastermind group that they meet, and I get to still be part of that sometimes and catch up with them, and it's awesome. Okay, so here comes to your homework or your brainstorm, or you can brainstorm. So first of all, brainstorm, then get to your homework offer, which I want you to type in here, okay? So spend a little bit of time on it, come back, type in here your homework. But firstly, brainstorm, what do your clients need most right now that you can help them with, okay? So rather than thinking of all the things, what's something they need help with right now? Often what we see as a marketer, where we get stuck as an expert and a marketer, is that oh, Millie, it's really loud, is that we think, okay, we know the utopia that we want to take them to. We've already done that work. We've already seen where they are and where they need to go. And we talk in terms of that utopia all the time rather than meeting them where they are. So what I'd like you to do is have an exercise in what is the biggest problem they're facing right now, what's in their mind thinking that they need rather than what you know they need. Okay, so brainstorm that first. And then I'd like you to think about your own offer and what could you offer to focus on that's one clear outcome. Maybe it is to say for me, the one clear outcome that I could focus on is how they could start and create their own mastermind, right? Deliver their own mastermind to allow more income to flow in with fewer number of clients, right? That kind of thing. Now, you might not land on that yet. You can just play with that. Maybe you need to ask me a question about, okay, well, here's my clients. What would you suggest? And we can workshop that in there as well. So make sure you post that in there, and make sure you show up tomorrow, because we're going to be going through session 2 of the workbook, which is the 3 fear-free keys to raising your prices so you can make your metrics work, not sell your soul for peanuts. So pricing something I get asked a lot. We're going to walk through some of those main pricing strategies, what they can look like, what they could look like for you. You can ask your questions as well, and I'd love to answer them. With this video, I'll leave it in here, but I'll also pop it up in the unit section so that you can access these while they're up until next Wednesday. Okay, so they're only up for a week, so make sure you get through this. I'm coming back in, rolling hard tomorrow at the same time, and I cannot wait to see you there. Okay, guys, take care. I can't press. Oh. Millie, please, don't turn that on yet. I'm not off yet, okay? I've just got these buttons stuck. Oh, cool, Kathy. I see you're posting the homework. My buttons are stuck and I can't press off, and my daughter is making an amazing amount of noise. So let me just work out how I'm going to do this without losing this recording. I need to go up here. Why is this doing this? Please be quiet. I'm live. Okay. Kathy, I am going to come back into your question. What have you got? Because I cannot turn this off. I'm trying my best. My ecamm.live stuck. So my clients need to have ways to connect with their donors to get donations. I'm working on a communication challenge. I love that, Kathy. You know I love your message and your market as well. It's like that's where they are because, of course, you come from the space, Kathy, of they need, so much more structure to set up sustainable donations and set up those bigger wins rather than like the little bits and pieces and all those big fundraisers that only just give them little amounts, right? So you've already got that view, but in their mind, they're just like, I just need donations. I just need donations. So when you can open the door for them, that makes a really big difference. Oh yeah, they're great. And she's still going, and I really want to turn this off so you don't have to listen to all of her noise. I cannot turn it off, and I'm worried I'm going to lose it. Not lose it at my daughter, but lose the recording. So it's Mercury retrograde. This is what happens in Mercury retrograde. I do not know why. I know that sometimes it's because I have this. This is why. Right, I've worked it out. This mouse is working. Okay, I think I've figured it out. All right, guys, I'm going to see you tomorrow.